Here we go. Welcome into the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. It is deadline day. Happy Tuesday to everybody. NFL trade deadline coming up here in a few hours. So coming up on the show, latest Niners trade buzz, intel, and news going into the deadline, and a programming reminder. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily and year-round coverage of the Niners, as I'm giving you Niners shows every single day, but also here soon, we're going live for the trade deadline and a few hours going into it. So we'll see you at 10 a.m. p.m. or a.m. Pacific, excuse me. Don't forget to hit that sub button, but also hit that bell icon. Turn on your notifications. Therefore, when we do go live, when we push out a show, you'll be notified and you'll stay in the know. Let's begin here with probably the most marquee name who's been tied to the Niners for weeks at this point, really since that Nick Bosa season-ending torn ACL in Week 3. That is Trey Hendrickson, the edge rusher for the Cincinnati Bengals, who had the most sacks in the NFL in 2023 and in 2024. And according to reports, the Bengals are looking for a first-round pick. I got to tell you, with the way that they operate, how cheap they are, how they don't value players, with the way that they do contracts, with the lack of playoff success, how they treat their fans, the Bengals are an unserious organization. If you wanted a first-round pick for Hendrickson, you should have traded him during the offseason. When he was looking for a contract extension, you didn't give him one, and his value was high. But now here we are going into Week 10. His value isn't as high as it once was because he's coming off a hip injury, still kind of has it lingering, and midway through the year, you are not going to get and extract as much value as you would if you would have traded him prior to the season. So the Bengals are unserious here, and that's why they have been a dumpster fire organization for a lot of their existence. Now, they did trade a player earlier today. And remember here on the show yesterday how I was talking about how Jerry Jones said, we have a trade. It's going to be official soon. That player is going to be a plug-and-play guy right from the jump. Of course, it's not a blockbuster move. The Cowboys have traded for Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson. They send Cincinnati a 2026 seventh-round pick. Now, Wilson used to be a starter for Cincinnati. He is a team captain, but on one of the worst defenses in the NFL, he's the sixth leading tackler. The Cowboys need a lot more than just Logan Wilson. Did you see how they lost that game last night to Arizona? They got walloped. Now, Trey Hendrickson, on the other hand, this is the player who the Niners have wanted. According to a bunch of reports, nationally, locally, the Niners have honed in on Hendrickson as their number one guy. They might not be able to trade for him, though, because the price tag might still be a first-round pick. And if it is, I don't think any team trades a first for Trey Hendrickson unless they really believe that is the move that makes them a Super Bowl contender. I really like Hendrickson as a player. I love the motor that he plays with. I love the effort that he plays with. He would fit the Niners culture in that regard because he loves the game of football. He can win with power moves. He can win with technique. He can win with defined pass rush moves. He did not play this past week because of that hip ailment, but he does have 4 sacks, 8 quarterback hits, 23 pressures, and a pass rush grade of 90. There's been a sample size of him staying healthy. Obviously, that's important for the Niners. 17.5 sacks both in 2022 and in 2023. Very good year in 2021. You put him on this Niners team, and immediately he becomes the number one edge rusher and pass rusher on this football team. And those 17.5 sacks, 2023, 2024, and then this year, obviously, he has those 4 sacks. The Bengals defense, it's a bad, bad unit. And so if they trade him away, I don't think they're making the playoffs. I think they should go full sell mode and get some value back for a player who they might lose otherwise in free agency. And it's not like Hendrickson has helped them. They're 32nd in points per game allowed, 32nd in yards per game allowed, 32nd in yards per play, 31st in third down conversion percentage, 23rd on fourth downs, 29th in the red zone. Those numbers, they're hard to look at. And for Bengals fans, that's eye-bleeding material. Now, there is this from Jordan Schultz, NFL Insider. We'll see if any deals get done. But the 2 teams I've been watching today for a potential holy crap trade, the Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. Now, if the Broncos make a move, I don't think they need to trade for a pass rusher. They have the most sacks in the NFL by far. Their defense is a vaunted unit. But moves for Denver: tight end, wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, maybe a player like Zach Ertz. That could make sense for Denver. For Seattle, though, they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They just put up one of the most impressive wins so far of the 2025 season, shellacking the Washington Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Mike Macdonald is doing a great job with that defense. Can you imagine if the Seattle Seahawks trade for Trey Hendrickson? That's a move that would make them a serious factor in the NFC, and they're already an NFC contender. Their defense is great. Sam Darnold is playing well. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I love the way that Kubiak is utilizing him. Leads the NFL in receiving. I think they need to do a better job of running the football a little bit better. But if the Seahawks trade for Trey Hendrickson, that's obviously not good for the Niners because they're a factor in the NFC, and the Niners are competing with Seattle to win the NFC West. And it would make an already elite defense even better. The Seahawks, they're giving up 18.8 points per game. 5th in the NFL. Yards per game, 11th. Yards per play, 3rd. Third down conversion rate, 12th. And their red zone touchdown scoring percentage is also top 10 at number 9. That would be a scary acquisition for Seattle. And the Niners play the Seahawks week 18. This division could come down to that game. You look at the NFC playoff picture right now, you have the Seahawks ahead of the Niners, the Rams ahead of the Niners. But San Francisco, they're 6-3. They're in a good spot. I mean, the number 2 seed in the NFC, it's the Buccaneers at 6-2. The Niners have as many wins as the Rams, as the Seahawks. Big game coming up on Sunday against the Rams. But at 6-3, the season is there for San Francisco to make some noise, which is why I think they should make some noise here today. What it feels like to me is that the Niners are going to trade for one of these two players. I don't know if it's going to be Trey Hendrickson because the price tag is too high. Who are those players? We'll get to that coming up around the corner. I also want to talk about an offensive lineman who I would really like for the Niners to go after as well. But first, let's get to our sponsor for today's 49ers Report, Omaha! Omaha! You know I love eating good, and I'm able to do that with Omaha. I take my diet very seriously, my nutrition very seriously, and my workout seriously. Training for a High Rocks competition coming up here in 3 weeks, so I need to fuel myself with some really good food. Omaha Steaks, the official sponsor of tailgating. From legendary burgers to mouth-watering steaks, deli-style franks, and so much more. You'll elevate your next game day get-together with America's original butcher. For more than a century, Omaha Steaks has delivered the world's best steak experience. Legendary flavor served in stadiums and homes all across the country. And now, with our exclusive offer, you get $35 off when you use the promo code 49ers at omahasteaks.com. There's no off-season for flavor with Heartland quality food delivered right to your door. Enjoy grass-fed, grain-finished, extra-aged, USDA certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, more game day favorites like wings, deli-style franks, brats, Philly cheesesteaks. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917, ladies and gentlemen. A family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, plus delectable desserts. Make game day delicious with the official sponsor of tailgating. Visit omahasteaks.com. Get $35 off when you use the promo code 49ers at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. Use that promo code 49ers at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. We'll put that link and that information down below in the show notes and attached to the pinned comment of today's San Francisco 49ers Report. So our guy Ricky Scoops, he tweeted this out on Monday as we're recording the show, obviously Tuesday morning, November 4th, that the 49ers have been calling for a pass rusher the past few weeks. With Jalen Phillips traded to the Eagles, they could look to Bradley Chubb or Jermaine Johnson, two players they've called about. The Cowboys also actively looking for an edge. Ricky followed that up with a tweet this morning, everybody's favorite dog. Sounds like the Dolphins will be moving Bradley Chubb today. The Cowboys and the Niners, most likely destinations. Both teams have also reached out to the Bengals about Trey Hendrickson. So the Niners in pursuit of Hendrickson, and it just feels like it's going to be one of these two players. I don't think it's going to be both. If it is, That would be phenomenal. And obviously, with all the injuries to defensive end for San Francisco, they could use a couple of players at defensive end. I just don't think it's realistic. And if the Bengals are asking for a first-round pick for Hendrickson, it's going to be tough to pull off. But I think that you can get Chubb or Johnson for a third, maybe a fourth. The Niners do have a couple of fourths. Maybe they give up a couple of fourths for one of these players. For Chubb, a veteran who's been very well accomplished. He does have some injury issues throughout his career, but when he's right, highly productive. This year, 9 games played. He has 4 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. Didn't play last year because of a torn ACL, but did have an awesome season in 2023 with those 11 sacks and 22 quarterback hits. When you turn on the tape, when you watch highlights this year, when you watch games, Bradley Chubb has stood out. He's been able to get after the quarterback. He's been able to collapse and push the pocket. And again, I think the Niners might like him because they wouldn't have to break the bank for him. He also doesn't have any more guaranteed money left on his contract. For Jermaine Johnson, a younger player, obviously has those ties to Robert Saleh. He did tear his Achilles last year. That's a big concern. This season, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits. In 2024, only played those 2 games. Really came on in 2023 alongside Bryce Huff. That's another reason why you might want to make this move. You team up Jermaine Johnson and Bryce Huff again. They complement each other pretty well. 7.5, 16 quarterback hits. He's also a pretty good run defender. And so Robert Saleh would know how to use Jermaine Johnson. I think that any of these players would be rejuvenated going to a team that has a chance to make a playoff run and make a playoff push. They'd go from a 1-win Jets team or a 2-win Dolphins team. They'd wake up and they're like, wow, I'm on the 6-3 Niners right now. A player I would love for the San Francisco 49ers to go after is Jackson Powers Johnson. I really liked him coming out of Oregon as a center. For whatever reason, the Raiders have been insistent on playing him at guard. I don't know what Chip Kelly is thinking here. I think that he has the makings of being an elite center. This would be a player who I think would upgrade the Niners offensive line at center, but if you wanted to play him at guard, you could obviously do that. Coming out of Oregon, he was maybe the best center in that draft class not long ago. He won the Remington Trophy for the best center in college football, but he's been miserable with the Raiders because he doesn't like how he's used. If the Niners are looking for a long-term center option, and obviously Kyle Shanahan values the center position, he's paid Alex Mack. He paid Weston Richburg. This is a player who I think would make a lot of sense, and this is a move that I would absolutely love that helps you in the pass game, but also the run game for the Niners. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll be live soon on the 49ers Report. By the time that you're watching this, if you see that red ring around the 49ers Report logo with that live icon, tap in, join us. We'll be live hanging out.